Hello and welcome to episode 2 of the Mourneview Monthly. You join us at Mourneview Park, where Glenavon will be taking on Hanover in the Milestones Cup this evening. I'm Dave Watt.
And I'm Michael Scott. We've got lots to get through this month, so let's get to it. Here's what's coming up.
It's goals galore as we bring you all the action from the opening weeks of the season. It's Fright Night as we look ahead to the Academy's Halloween camps. And we talk ticketing with Lee McLean.
Have a go! So let's get straight into the news, and I suppose the first thing we should talk about is this thing, our brand new. I'll just get rid of that. Our brand new kit. Dave, what have you made of it? What do you think?
There's certainly been mixed response to it.
There has.
It's probably the saying. Yeah, it's grown on me. When I first saw the designs, I was like, that's a wee bit too white. But I actually haven't seen it. I know we didn't play very well against Carrick, but actually seeing the players playing it, it looks a lot better.
It looks better. It's one of them. It's a weird sort of kit because whenever you see it hanging up, you go, and then you see it on the player, you go, actually, that looks all right. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, as you say, there's been a lot of reaction to it. Some people like it, some people don't. But I have to say, I actually do. If I had a little bit more blue, I'd be a bigger fan of it. But I actually think it's nice, it's different. It's inspired, we're told, by the kit of, was it 93, 94, 94, 95, something like that there. Yeah. The famous Diodore one.
Kits,
yeah. So, I like it. Hold my microphone a wee second. I'm going to hold it up so people can see. You can talk.
Oh. Yeah, that's good.
That's what it looks like there, in case you haven't seen it. There's the back.
So we have Andy Doyle's shirt. Yes.
Yeah. Thanks.
So we've been told that the reason why the fade starts from the bottom is because of the sleeves. They have to be white. So that's why it went from the bottom up rather than top down. But I actually think, as I say, I think my first reaction was kind of tongue in cheek. Blackie's going to have a hard day keeping that clean. Certainly when Doyle goes in for a few slide tackles.
Yeah, indeed. I can't imagine the shirt will stay clean for too much long.
No.
But, so, I mean, so we've looked at that. Let's talk about a few other changes that have been happening around the place, because the ticketing has obviously changed, and that has been something that a lot of people have had to get used to. Obviously now we've got a new e-ticketing system in place, which I think a lot of clubs are putting in place now. I suppose it is the future. I think we're all just going to have to get used to it. Yeah,
I mean, I think if a lot of fans will be fans of Premier League teams, and it's a similar system. You have to have a ticket already purchased before you go to those matches. It's coming in here. What it does is it obviously helps Glenavon and other clubs, as we say, to avoid to handling too much cash. There's been a lot made of that over COVID.
As you would know, Dave.
Yes.
Given your line of work.
Well, yes, that's true, yes. That has helped us, definitely. But, yes, it also helps with actually being able to tell exactly how many people are coming to matches. So, thanks, Fergie.
Fergie's a big fan.
Fergie's a big fan of the show. Shout out to Fergie. So it helps with Glenavon to be able to actually count the number of people that's going to be here, home and away fans. Basically, that helps with NIFL's own figures, and it actually helps then with the commercialisation of the league for them to be able to attract sponsorship and all of that, so they can give accurate figures as to the numbers of people that are here. Yeah. The other side is it means that you can actually ensure you get your ticket rather than having to possibly queue outside. I know sometimes office hours don't suit a lot of people to come and get their tickets for some of the bigger games, so it's a better way for them to be able to access ticketing as well. Yeah,
I suppose as well, the other thing we should mention as well is the Linfield game that's coming up on Saturday. Obviously, see a few comments on social media regarding people wondering why we have put in this system where people have to show proof of vaccination or COVID antibody, stuff like that. Really, that's so that people can get more people into the stadium, because obviously, like the Linfield and Torn, the games we have coming up, big crowds will be expected. So to try and get as many people into the ground as possible, this is what we've been asked to do. To put those in place.
Social distancing. If we don't put those in place, we have to go to 1.5 or 2 metres, which means it restricts the capacity quite significantly to similar numbers to last season. Whereas if we go down to 1 or no metres, then because of the proof of negative tests or whatever, then it allows us to actually have a fuller capacity, as you say.
Yeah, so hopefully the days that we have no restrictions at all and we can all go back to normal aren't too far away.
Hopefully, Michael.
Dave, also speaking of the Linfield game, the lottery, that's coming up as well, isn't it?
Yeah, there's going to be a draw at half-time, I believe, on Saturday for the Linfield match, just to relaunch the club lottery. That's all we can really say about that at the minute. That will be, the amount will be released closer to the time as well. So.
We'll keep our ears to the ground for that there. Gary Hamilton celebrated his 450th game in charge recently, and
he certainly did.
And he is celebrating he will be celebrating his 10th year in charge come December time. So details are coming out very soon regarding Gary's testimonial. What will be coming up. We don't want to say too much at the minute.
No. But there will be some of the usual events that would be associated with the testimonial season.
Not to give too much away there, Dave, but yes, that's what's exactly going to happen. It looks like it's going to be a very good year. I mean, in terms of what's lined up, a lot of events that supporters can get involved in, and hopefully people will get involved in those and come out and support them and give thanks to Gary for the good job he's done. I mean, he's done a fantastic job in the 10 years he's been here.
Yeah, I mean, I think that if you go with the 10 years before Gary came, started off with Colin Malone's first stint in charge as manager, actually started out okay, and then we kind of got lost as a club for a few years, and things didn't really work out for Marty before Gary came in. Then when Gary came in, he seemed to give a bit of a life back to the club, and the last 10 years have probably been some of the best that the club's had. Yeah. I know obviously people will hark back to the days of Jimmy Jones and Wilbur Cush and all of that, but I certainly think it's been some of the better years. And
if nothing else, he brought Fergie to the club.
He did indeed. Fergie's a big fan.
Yeah. Just in case people are wondering why I'm looking at my phone, it's because I've got a little thing I want to read out regarding Danny Purkis, who we're going to talk about in a little moment. Yeah. Obviously, Danny has, or the club's been made aware that Danny no longer wants to play for the club.
It's very unfortunate, but he has his reasons, and I think that's. Yeah. I mean, it's fair enough to a certain extent. It's disappointing that it hasn't worked out, and considering he signed a 3-year contract in the summer.
As people will know, Gary said that there was a meeting of the board recently. That meeting took place, and as I understand it, club are making a statement officially at this stage, but things are in progress, and things are being checked out with the IFA and the relevant authorities regarding that. So I would expect further news on that in the very near future. That aside, it's been a very mixed start to the season. We've had a fine win. We've had a draw that felt like a defeat.
Yep.
A draw that felt like a win.
Yep.
And a heavy defeat.
It was relatively unexpected.
Which was relatively unexpected. But for those of you who haven't seen the goals, here's a reminder of how it's all gone.
Welcome back to Mourneview Park, where Glenavon are taking on Hanover. We will get you the highlights of that later on. That will be available on our YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe for all the latest news and obviously highlights and reaction to all the games. It's very easy to do. All you do is make sure you hit subscribe and hit the bell button just to make sure you're notified as soon as all those videos go live. You'll also be able to hear from Gary Hamilton and some of the players as well. Speaking of which, we caught up with some of the squad this past week, exclusively for you on the Mourneview Monthly. Here's what they had to say, starting with Mark Stafford and Kyle Beggs after the game against Port Stewart in the League Cup. So, Staff, what was your first start for Glenavon? How did it feel?
Yes, it was a long time coming. Obviously, I've been coming back from a knee operation and whatnot, so I was really appreciative of the opportunity to get on the pitch tonight. So yeah, it feels good. Obviously, the result it's a good response from obviously a poor result on Saturday. So we move forward.
Brilliant. So that's your third different club you played for in the Irish League. You seem to like playing in blue, although with a wee bit less this season. Yeah. What's your thoughts then for the season moving forward?
Yeah, well, obviously it's been maybe a tricky enough start. You know, we've had some good bits of play in games and then some not so good, so I think we're still all gelling. There's a few new players in important positions in the team, and we're a work in progress. We've a lot of good players in the squad here, so if we can keep pushing on in the right direction just like we did tonight and keep improving, then hopefully we'll get a few more decent results in the league going forwards.
I'm sure if you were sitting on the bench at the start of the match, you didn't think you were going to come on and score a hat-trick.
No, I'll be honest, I was a bit gutted I didn't start tonight. I thought maybe cup game I'd maybe get a run out, but as Gaz always says, the people on the bench always have to play their part too. So I just thought if I get a chance here and come on, try and get a goal, maybe even assist, help the lads. I didn't expect 3, but thankfully I created the space for the chances, and I have to thank Ribsy, wee Ross Hunter, Doyler even, McCluskey. You know, if it wasn't for them boys putting the ball on the plate for me, then I wouldn't have been able to finish them, but that's where it comes in a team aspect of the game. So that was my first competitive goal for Glenavon, as well as my first hat-trick for Glenavon, so long may it continue.
Good night all round then. You know, I have to say, like, I was impressed by just your pace and like how cool you were finishing those. I mean, you took the goals really, really well.
Yeah, to be honest, I think I did take the goals well, and you know, sometimes if you're quick, you maybe sometimes rush the shot. But I think once I got into the area and I was one-on-one with the keeper, I managed to settle down, and I just in my head picked my spot early and just tried to place it instead of blasting it, and thankfully tonight all 3 of them went in.
You've been playing yourself in the contention for a place for Saturday.
Hopefully. I mean, I don't really think I can do much more, but listen, it's up to the manager. He picks the best team that he feels is capable of getting the 3 points on a Saturday. So listen, I'm delighted for tonight to get a hat-trick, but I think the rest of the lads, we all look forward to Saturday and try and get 3 points on the board, because obviously Saturday was very disappointing. So hopefully you can bounce quite quick, get 3 points on Saturday, and then move on to the tough run of fixtures.
You mentioned Saturday past there. I mean, obviously that was a tough game for everybody involved, but you know, for you as somebody who wasn't involved, obviously you see an opportunity for yourself there to try and get in and try and get a place.
Yeah, I mean, listen, when you're on the bench, obviously you just have to bide your time and wait for your opportunity, and sometimes you take your opportunity, sometimes you don't, and it's just about being patient, keeping the head down, working hard, and just waiting for your chance. And thankfully tonight I got my chance and I took it. So yeah.
Darter, tell us about the match. Obviously you've come off there a wee bit worse for wear, I think.
Yeah, it was a good battle today, to be fair. It's frustrating to concede so late on. I think it wasn't a great game to watch, I dare say, but our boys battled well. I thought we would have come away with 3 points, so it feels like a defeat in the end. Yeah, so.
Well, in the second half anyway, I thought we were fairly dominant. I don't think you had that much to do in the second half, really, did you?
Yeah, well, Daggy made a save there with 5 minutes left, I think. I think that was the only save he really made. But I thought we played very well the second half, defended well, defended as a team. Like I said, it just feels like a defeat now.
Tell us about your season so far. I mean, you got in today. You know, you've had a couple of games. Like, I mean, how's it going for you so far?
Pretty similar to last season. I think I didn't start the first 2 last season, or didn't start the first one, started the second one. So pretty similar. Just have to fight your way into the team. You have 5 good centre halves at the club this year, 5 or 6 is there? So you have to fight every week and train well to try and get back in.
What's it like having all that competition? You know, does it give you a wee bit more of a competitive edge?
Yeah, I prefer it. Always have. Whenever I signed for Glenavon, 5 or 6 years back, there was 5 good centre halves: Chris Lindsay, Simon Kelly, all them boys. You know, so you'd always had competition. I'd prefer it like that personally.
Well, obviously we've got decent run of games coming up now with the likes of the Blues coming down, the Glens, Larne, all that there. You know, what are your own thoughts going into those games?
That's the games kind of look after themselves, don't they? We always do well against the big teams, especially at home. I think with a good shout at home, you know. If anyone comes to Mourneview Park, we'll do well against them. Not a problem.
Fitzy, that's your third goal in 4 games. I'm sure you're happy with the form you're in at the minute.
Good start. It's always good to get off to a good start, but hopefully there's plenty more where it came from. That's the plan anyway.
I suppose the result today will sort of dampen the spirits a minute. I mean, I suppose that feels a bit like a defeat.
It's deflating, especially I thought we dug it out in the second half. We done well. We didn't play our best, but I thought we deserved the win. And to concede so late and from a set piece, it is a bit sickening.
We're 4 league games in now. I mean, how do you feel it's going so far?
It's going well. Obviously last week was a disaster, and it was something no one seen coming, and obviously from a performance this week it's completely different from last week, which is it's always good to bounce back in that way. But I think we've something to build on, and if we keep going in this direction and we learn from our mistakes, I think we can get a lot better.
I suppose there's positives to take as well. I mean, that performance against Warrenpoint the other week, I mean, you must get some pride out of that as well.
We do, but at the same time that brings frustration, doesn't it? Because we played so well, scored 6 goals, and go the following week and could be 4-0, and it leaves you with more questions asked than answers. Because if we were getting beat 6-1 and then getting beat 4-0, at least you could probably identify the problems. But with the inconsistency, it's frustrating for everyone involved.
Linfield next up in the league. I mean, it's another big game. You'll be hoping for a couple of goals in that one.
Hopefully, I'll say we'll need them because obviously they're top team champions. And in the Irish League now, it's just there's no easy fixtures. So hopefully we'll lift our game like we did last year, at the back end of last year when we played them, because it'll be a big ask. But hopefully, like I said, we'll lift our game and improve from this week.
Matthew Fitzpatrick there, rounding off our player interviews. Now, many of you will have seen there's been a few changes around the club, as we talked about earlier on, and there's no better woman to tell us about those than Lee McClune, our Executive Director. I've been speaking to her about what's been going on and also a bit about her role as a director at the club. I'm delighted to say that joining us now is our Executive Director, Lee McClune. Lee, it's been a busy summer for you. Tell us a wee bit about the ticketing process and what's been changing.
Well, it's been absolutely hectic summer. I haven't had a minute. Ticketing really is something that I have been focusing on for a long, long time and been an advocate for ticketing for many years. But the cost of it, of installing the system, was about 20 grand. At that time we couldn't really justify spending it. But with COVID and lockdown and various things, it's become reachable for most clubs, and you'll find that most clubs in the Irish League are now going with future ticketing, and that's going to be our ticketing system for the way forward. Couple of things really that COVID really is the main driver behind it, and to do away with cash handling at the gate, because everybody comes up, gets a card scanned or a ticket scanned, and there's no money changed hands whatsoever, basically. Now, we will obviously have a cash gate for anybody that can't really buy a ticket, but we'd encourage people to use their family and friends to get them, or to come in the Blue Zone on a Tuesday night or on a match day and buy a ticket there. The other thing really too is capacity. We've had restricted crowds, and with the future ticketing app we can actually set capacity in the ground per match. Now, we don't really have much of a problem with most teams, but our bigger matches, Linfield and Glentoran and Portadown, probably we can set the capacity on those games. But unfortunately, one of the downsides of that is that if we want to have capacity in the ground, we have to have some sort of mitigating factor in it. And what we've had to do is we've had to ask people for a negative lateral flow test or double vaccination, and that's just the way of the world at the minute. It's no different from anybody going to a concert, or if anyone wants to buy tickets for a flight around, the same sort of issue. The other thing which is very, very beneficial is when we're selling tickets for matches, the office isn't going to people. The office is small and the staff are overwhelmed, really, people walking in to buy tickets. So we're trying to push them down to the shop or push them to online sales.
Obviously, with the ticketing side of things, I mean, it's only just they've only had the one game so far, really, with it in place. I mean, how's it been working so far?
Well, last week was a bit of a disaster, and there was a few things that went wrong. Were all fixable. Like, for a start, the Wi-Fi wasn't going to stretch down to the away turnstile, but turned the mobile hotspot on, it was sorted out, and the ticketing system is quite complicated until you get up and running. And there's an issue with some of the tickets that were coming in, they're going beep beep, and they weren't actually scanning. But again, we worked out what was wrong. So hopefully in the next few weeks, things will improve. We have also set up a forum with other Irish League clubs, whereby we're all using the same system, and we have a support desk that has to go through to future ticketing. It's not always really quick to get an answer back. But with this forum, we have a WhatsApp group basically set up just where we can ask questions and get a quick reply on various issues.
It's a bit of a learning curve for everybody, really. Well, tell us a wee bit about your role here at the club, because you're executive director. What does that actually mean?
What that actually means is at our last year, this came in last year, and when John Cinnamon stood down as vice chairman, Fraser Follis was elected as vice chairman. Now he's also our treasurer, and traditionally there had been the chairman, the vice chairman and the treasurer who formed the 3 office bearers. And really the office bearers took decisions outside a board meeting with the backing of the board obviously, in relation to things that needed decided quickly. When Fraser took over as vice chairman, that role was duplicate sort of way, so we wanted to have a 3rd office bearer, and really was to have accountability at the club, that the two guys, Adrian and Fraser, could be challenged on various things. So this role was set up, executive director, and I was voted into it. So,
are you enjoying it? Well, answer me this then. You know, we've known each other a long time from being in the Victoria Club and whatever else, and you know, how have you found the transition from being just an ordinary rank and file supporter to basically running the place?
Oh, for many years, I haven't been a rank and file supporter. I've had various roles in the Victoria Club, and then I moved on and was secretary of the board for a number of years before I've actually been a director for about 5 years. But it's all done really for my love of the club, and to try and make things better for the club and keep things running for the club and keep supporters whatnot in the loop. So it's all done for the benefit of the club. It's been hard, it's very busy, but I couldn't have done it whenever I had a younger family, but now the kids have grown up with grandkids now, so I have a lot more time and I really enjoy it. So if I wasn't doing it, I don't know what I'd be doing.
An interesting look behind the scenes there with Lee. Another group of people that are always on the radar are certainly the Glenavon Academy, and at the end of October they'll be holding their Halloween camp. I've been speaking to Chris Chambers about that, and also some more general stuff around the academy as well. So Chris, tell us a little bit about your role at the academy.
My role is Head of Youth Development, bit of a fancy title, but the main aspect of my role is to make sure and design a curriculum and a proper structure for our coaches to work off, to be able to implement and pass on to our players, who then have a proper structure on a training evening, on a Monday and a Wednesday, and then that can carry on to Saturday.
Cool. So we have a lot of activity going on behind us here. Tell us exactly what is going on.
Yeah, so this is our training facility at Lurgan Junior High School. Tonight we have all the academy teams training right through from 7s right through to 18s. So at the moment we have our let them play phase and our foundation phase sessions going on here, 7s, 8s, 9s, 10s and 11s currently. And we are here every Monday and Wednesday from 6 o'clock right through to 9:30, 10 o'clock.
Great. So you talked last season when we chatted to you about the curriculum, you mentioned it there as well. Unfortunately, due to COVID and all that, we didn't get much of a chance to see that. So remind us exactly what that is, and obviously what that looks like from this season moving forward.
Yeah, it was about this time last year we announced it all in terms of how we were going to structure our academy from 7s right through to 18s. And over COVID then I was asked to design probably and update the curriculum that was here. So we've done that, myself and Mark Crummy, head of foundation phase, and from that really the curriculum is something now that the coaches have a proper structure to work off, rather than being more reactive to Saturdays. They're now being a bit more proactive and working on a proper development plan for our kids coming right through from 7s right through to 18s.
And what sort of impact then do you think that'll have on the academy?
Well, it's massive. As I said, it'll stop the reactive coaching for a start, which then we've got some very, very good coaches here. But again, it helps them structure themselves, structure the sessions. And again, it gives the players that focus for the month, rather than getting too carried away with league results. And that's something again here at the academy that Gary really focuses on, or encourages us to focus on, is not so much the results of the league, it's more making sure that the players are getting the right development through the week and into Saturday as well.
Okay. Regarding coaches then, you mentioned there before when we were chatting that you could maybe do with a few extra ones.
Yeah, like the academy is, we cap all our numbers here at the academy, but a big thing is everybody here's a volunteer, and they are extremely hard-working guys, and they're absolutely fantastic what they do. But we need more, and a big thing really is they're not volunteers at any club. They're volunteers at Glenavon and volunteers at Glenavon and academy really, and for that there comes a lot of time. But for us, we're looking dedicated people who may be interested in coming on board, and it is very, very rewarding. And when you're lucky to work with such a good calibre of player, it'll also it's good for your own CV as well. And plus, we support every single coach here, whether it be coaching badges, the Glenavon gear, and also the admission into games as well. So there's lots of perks with it, but we do ask for a good bit of time, and obviously that wee bit of professionalism as well.
So we've also got obviously you mentioned the youngest age group there is our sevens. They're only starting off. Tell us a bit more about. Looks like there's a very good big group behind you there. So looks like there's been a good response.
Yeah, a big thing we do every year is we cap all our age groups. So sevens and eights, we cap our age groups to around 14 kids. So that allows us to work with them on a more one-to-one basis rather than working with 20, 30, 40. And the big thing at this age group is from 7s to 10s. It's a big part of our community programme where we let obviously local kids play for the club. After that then it does become a wee bit more obviously structured in that we go down to one team, and it's very much trial basis. But for us, we got a new group of under 7s in 2015s. They're now full in capacity. Now we have space available. Our number of spaces at 2014, which is under 8s behind us, if anybody would be interested. There's about 2 spaces left, but these are the younger age groups that we have the most fun with, and this is the ones that we want to try and fall in love with football, but most importantly fall in love with Glenavon as well, and that this will be their team now that they'll follow for the rest of their lives.
Definitely. You mentioned community there. I know that obviously there's the Halloween camps coming up at the end of October.
Yes, the Halloween camps will now be announced very, very soon. We hope we will be announcing actually our Halloween camp at the end of October in the Halloween holidays, and it's something the side of the community that we want to try and get into is that community side that the club has worked really, really hard with, the academy as well. And the Halloween camps and the camps is just one of many things that the club is now doing. Another one that we'll be announcing very soon is our after schools programme, and hopefully our finishing Fridays programme as well as our strength and conditioning programme in the next couple of weeks.
Hopefully everyone has a good week and the kids score a few goals.
Little green ghouls, buddy.
Don't write goals.
I'm not.
We're edging closer to kick-off the Mid-Ulster Cup. As you can see, the players have arrived there warming up. So let's have a look at the action. So a disappointing night in the Mid-Ulster Cup, Glenavon out of the competition, and Gary Hamilton not missing his words at the end there.
No, he wasn't. It's unfortunate, but I think, to be fair, I mean, there's always maybe every couple of seasons we have a result like that in a cup competition, whether it's happened against Loughgall a couple of times in various cups. And then I think it's probably most disappointing, I think, as Gary said, for the younger players and some of the squad players, because it gives them an opportunity to get game time. And I'm not sure too many people put their hands up as wanting to push the first time, you know?
No, not really. And I suppose as well, with a big run of games coming up over the next 3 or 4 weeks, over the space of October, you know, you're looking for players to step up at this stage.
You certainly are, because you need a squad. You need to have players in every position that can, you know, if somebody gets an injury or isn't maybe performing the way they should, or that they could, that you're able to say, well, actually, we've got somebody there, you take a rest and we'll bring so-and-so in. Unfortunately, it seems like we may be producing more performances like Carrick and Ballymena than we do against Warren Point, unfortunately, this season.
Hopefully not. I mean, let's take a look at some of those fixtures we have coming up. We start off on Saturday with Linfield, then we'll have Larne. I know over the course of the month we also have Coleraine, we have Cliftonville, and then also we have a game against Dungannon team. You always seem to raise their game against us, and Coleraine was the other one as well.
No, we've 2 against Glentoran, 1 in the Cup and 1 in the League.
Yeah.
And we have Linfield, Larne and Glentoran here all next week. Those are 3 games that you look at the start of the season. Have we done better against Carrick? Have we done better against Ballymena? Mm-hmm. You're taking the pressure off for those games where you can go out and maybe, you know, whatever you get from them can be maybe a bonus. Unfortunately, now they're looking like games that you probably have to get something from. You know, you would have been happy maybe with a couple of draws, maybe sneak a win and be undefeated against them. Now you're sort of going into those games looking at need a couple of wins.
Is there any positives? Have you got any positives? We've got a nice kit.
We do. We do. No, I mean, certainly Fitzy's form has definitely continued into this season. I know Gary obviously singled him out along with Decky against Carrick as a positive.
Are we being too negative? There's plenty. I think there's plenty of reasons to be optimistic.
There is. I mean, we definitely have a good enough squad, and we have enough experience now in the dressing room that should be able to lift the players. I mean, we've a good backroom team. Gary and myself is long enough in the tooth now as a manager. I think it just takes to look at ourselves and go, right, okay, we are better than this,
yeah,
and we should be able to lift our game. And it starts against Linfield on Saturday.
Yeah, promises to be a big month anyway. Thanks to you for watching us. Thanks to our media team sponsors, Embroidery, for their help, and also to Bedek for their sponsorship over the year. Anybody else want to mention, Dave?
No, at this stage.
No. Sorry then. Well, then from us, thanks very much for joining us. All the best. Enjoy your month.
See you next month.